I'll call the April 22nd City Commission meeting to order for the City of Hayes. The first item of business is the minutes. Everybody had an opportunity to review them. Any changes?
None. I have none.
Financial statement, Mr. Rupp.
Thank you. This is a summary of revenue and expenditure activities for the City of Hayes, month ended March 31, 2021. Revenues in March totaled $2,837,308. That's an increase of $243,000 when we compare that to last year at this time. Total areas of increased revenue. Grants in the Airport Improvement Fund were up $103,546 for reimbursement of the first invoice on the Runway 422 lighting rehab project. And one notable area of revenue decrease, you'll see a credit to the county sales tax fund in the amount of $74,637. That's an adjusting journal entry to reclassify those funds to the general fund where they should be properly receipted. Golf course revenue was off $7,500 as compared to a year ago. Expenditures in March totaled $3,011,886. That's an increase of $262,669. Some notable areas of increased expenditure. Other contractual for the Bickle-Schmidt Sports Complex was up $10,600 for relocation of several electrical outlets. Commission Capital Reserve increased $112,816 for the approved shade structures project at the Bickle-Schmidt Sports Complex. Cost of natural gas was up $50,389 in the intergovernmental and water reclamation funds due to the recent cold snap in February. And just as a little information, we did not request a payment plan on that increase. Solid Waste purchased a new skid steer loader, increasing reserve expenditures $28,000. And the $85,000 increase for water reserve expenditures were due to the start of the water line improvement project citywide. Some notable areas of decreased expenditure. Credit of $24,352 in repairs to buildings for the airport was to receipt insurance proceeds for a wind-damaged hangar door. CVB contingency expenditures fell $25,000 due to the transfer to airport improvement at this time last year for marketing assistance. Health insurance was down $58,000 compared to a year ago. Bunker gear purchased a year ago dropped general supplies expenditures for the fire department $9,400. And projects for special parks fell $30,000 due to sidewalks installed in several park locations citywide a year ago. Month to date, general fund sales tax collections were at $661,322. That's an increase of $67,500 or 11% as compared to last year. Year to date, general fund sales tax collections are at $2,012,916. Those are up $46,000 or 2.3%. 6-month average is at 1.44, and that is a decrease of 5.3 when compared to a year ago. And month-to-date county sales tax collections were at $81,365, with year-to-date total at $242,654. The report of top 10 quarter-to-date sales tax collections by classification was down 7,200 or a negative 32 basis points. Supermarkets, convenience stores, accommodation, and clothing all saw the largest decreases. But in contrast, building material and merchant wholesalers were up a combined 74%. Portfolio certificates of deposit on March 31, 2021 totaled $34.15 million with a weighted average interest rate of 19 basis points. That is down 1.8% from a year ago. Total par value of U.S. Treasury notes is at $5,025,000 with a weighted average yield of maturity of 6 basis points. Total balance of the money market account on March 31 was $13.75 million with a current yield of 5 basis points. Total investments are down $10,102,000.
I'll make a motion that we accept the March 2021 financial statement.
Second.
It's been moved by Commissioner Melick and seconded by Commissioner Musil to accept the financial statement. Any discussions or questions? If not, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved 5-0. We have a room full of people. Do we have any citizen comments? Mr. Reuter, you started getting up. You're welcome to get up, you know. Okay.
You got lots of answers.
The consent agenda is next on our order of business. There's 2 items of note: a cereal malt beverage license application by the Kiwanis Club for the Wild West Festival, And also additional mayoral appointments, Russ Konigsman to the Board of Zoning Appeals, as well as Jerry Sontag. Planning Commission, Paul Phillips to a 3-year term. Hayes Public Library Board, Shelley Bryan and Mary Tepp for additional 4-year terms, and they're both their second terms. Every single person that is being recommended this evening has applied for additional terms. So we want to thank them for serving in our communities.
I'll move we accept the consent agenda, items A and B.
Seconded.
It's been moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Burgess. Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved 5-0. First item on our agenda is 230th Avenue and 55th Street project, the awarded bid. Mr. John Brown.
Good evening, Commissioners. I am John Brown, Project Manager for the City of Hayes. And the project to improve the intersection of 230th Avenue and 55th Street is located just north of the I-70 exit 150 interchange, with 157 interchange. In 2013, Ellis County applied for and was awarded economic development funding from KDOT, which eventually amounted to $1.5 million for improvements at this intersection. The proposed development of the Hayes Truck Plaza project prompted the annexation of property and right-of-way in the area of this project. And in December of 2019, the Ellis County Board of Commissioners requested that the project sponsorship be transferred to the City of Hayes. In May of 2020, tax increment financing, a CID, and a developer agreement were approved in support of the Truck Plaza and the 230th Avenue and 55th Street project. In July of 2020, the city entered an agreement with KDOT formalizing the responsibilities of both the City of Hayes and the Department of Transportation in advancing this project. The project includes grading, pavement, curb and gutter, storm sewer, sidewalk, and pavement markings to improve 230th Avenue from north of the westbound I-70 ramps to approximately 1,300 feet north of the 55th Street intersection, and improvements to 55th Street from 230th Avenue to approximately 800 feet east. Bids were opened on February 16th from the 3 contractors that are shown on the screen. All bids were reviewed by city staff and by Driggs Design Engineers. The low bid from Hess Services in the amount of $1,878,301 has been determined to be the valid low bid and below the engineer's estimate. A recommendation letter from Driggs Design and a detailed tabulation of the bids is in your packets. Since the project is partially funded by KDOT, the city has received concurrence from KDOT to award the bid to Hess Services. The current schedule calls for construction to begin in May and be completed within 120 calendar days. Inspection of the project would be completed by Driggs Design Group if approved as recommended in the next agenda item. With the low bid of $1.8 million and plus the construction engineering costs of $140,800, the total project is currently $2,019,101. The development agreement from back in May of 2020 between the city and D&J Land and Development LLC requires that the developer provide a letter of credit or a cash deposit in the amount to cover the project cost in excess of the $1.5 million KDOT grant. On April 1st, the developer provided such a letter of credit satisfying the requirements of the development agreement. So the commission has the option of accepting the low bid from Hess Services or directing staff to another option or doing nothing. And the action requested is on the screen.
I move we authorize the city manager to enter a contract with Hess Services, Inc. in the amount of $1,878,301 for the construction of the 230th Avenue and 55th Street intersection project to be funded by a $1.5 million KDOT grant, with the balance funded by D&J Land and Development LLC.
I'll second.
Been moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Melick. Questions, comments?
John, I think we discussed this last week, but Hess won't be doing all of this work. They do have subcontractors that are experienced in
Right.
different
Diff-
aspects of
different
this
things,
project.
Right. Their primary subcontractor is Morgan Brothers, who will be doing the concrete paving, and that's actually about 30% of the total cost of the project. Hess Services will be doing the earthwork and the storm sewer improvements and that sort of thing. Without having a list, I know last time you asked about Penco. I incorrectly told you last time that Penco was doing the construction staking. They're actually doing the material testing for that. Driggs Design is doing the construction staking. So,
Thank you, John.
John, if you've told me this, I apologize, I don't remember. That intersection isn't going to have to be totally closed, is it?
it'll be phased out, and there will be certain phases where the section north of the intersection will be closed, but there'll always be access in some way to get to Celebration Community Church and over to Dunans as they're doing. They'll be phasing it out into like 3 different phases of construction, but know that during a particular phase of construction, and it's mostly because of the elevation differences. They're flattening the hills and raising the valleys, and the offset difference between trying to construct half of it and keeping a lane of traffic open and keeping it safe, and the amount of space it takes just wouldn't be possible. So they actually have to shut down the entire section
But
of,
they're finding ways around.
and they're finding ways around.
Thank you. Any other questions? Move call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved 5-0. Next item, the construction engineering agreement on that same project. Mr. Brown.
Thank you. John Brown, Project Manager. The agenda item is related to the improvements of the intersection of 230th and 55th Street, as we just discussed. Since the project is partially funded by KDOT, the Secretary of Transportation requires construction, engineering, and inspection in accordance with the applicable state and federal requirements. The agreement with D&J Land Development obligates the developer to fund the cost of the city to hire a consultant to provide said construction engineering services. As such, Driggs Design has submitted an agreement to provide said professional services at a cost of $140,800 to be reimbursed by the developer. As discussed in the previous agenda item, the development agreement between the City of Hayes and D&J Land Development requires the developer to cover the project costs in excess of $1.5 million by the KDOT grant to include the $140,800 of construction engineering. So the commission has the option to enter the agreement with Driggs Design, direct staff to another option, or to do nothing, and the action requested is on the screen.
Make a motion to authorize the city manager to execute the agreement with Driggs Design in the amount of $140,800 for construction engineering services related to 230th Avenue and 55th Street intersection project to be funded by D&J Land and Development, LLC.
Seconded.
Been moved by Commissioner Musil, seconded by Commissioner Burgess to approve the action requested and recommended. Discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved 5-0. Thank you. Item 8, 2021 water production lime slaker. Did you hear that, Mr. Crispin? Slaker.
You did very good.
Thank you very much. I learned.
Good evening, Commissioners. Jeff Crispin, Director of Water Resources. Staff solicited bids for the 2021 water production lime slaker project to replace the current lime slaker system in the water plant. The lime slaker is an important piece of equipment that converts dry calcium oxide, which is also known as quicklime or pebble lime, into calcium hydroxide slurry. The equipment creates the slurry, and then the slurry mixes with water in our large primary clarifiers at the plant. The slurry assists the water plant operator in adjusting the pH and also helps remove impurities in the water within that clarifier. And that is a picture of the current unit, and I have some other pictures, as you well know. The current lime slaker is 15 years old and has had multiple in-house repairs over the years. The equipment has reached its end of useful life, and needs to be replaced. The lime slaking machine runs 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The current model has 130,000 hours of continuous use, and I should have moved that a little forward since last week. It's continuing to run right now. This is the top of the machine. That is where it receives the lime from, or the product, the lime from the top of the bins when you drive by the water treatment plant. The bottom of this photo, right there, that little area right there, is the slurry being introduced into the water and then onto the into the primary clarifier. The top right of the screen, that conveyor, that takes larger pebbles and things that should not go, cannot mix in and cannot go into the water, and that basically is hauled off, and we get rid of that. We get rid of that when it's full. Pretty simple. This is a photo of the proposed unit. The proposed unit is stainless steel. It's from the same company as the current unit, and it's designed to work with all current connections that it's already hooked up for. The other thing that's nice about it is stainless steel will hold up a lot better than the current one. So we opened bids one bid on March 2nd, 2021. Integrity Municipal Systems of California submitted the bid for $119,000. The equipment is an updated model similar to the current unit in the plant. Integrity Municipal Systems is $81,000 below the budget at about $200,000. And one of the things I wanted to add in, last week we discussed why there was such a big difference in the budgeted amount. The budgeted amount, we had thought that we would have to have it installed professionally, and the last time the unit was installed 15 years ago, staff installed it. So it'll be designed to just basically hook up and go, and they will have a person here on scene while we are doing that work. After a notice of proceed is given, the unit would take a month to design. They will submit specifications to us to review, and then after approved, it would take 12 weeks to build and ship and get to us at our water treatment plant. It comes with a 1-year warranty, and then also a good thing is 2,000 parts within this unit are available within 48 hours shipped to us. And we would have probably some of the same parts that could interchange already on the shelf, so that will be helpful. So for the financial portion of this project, it was listed in our CIP in the 2021 budget for $200,000 to be funded out of water capital, and the total cost is $119,000. So these are the options tonight: accept the bid, direct us to another option, or do nothing. And this is the action I would request.
I'll move to authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Integrity Municipal Systems in the amount of $119,000 for the purchase of a lime slaking system to be funded from water capital.
Second that.
Been moved by Commissioner Burgess, seconded by Commissioner Reuter to approve the action requested. Do we have any questions?
Jeff, I just want to thank you. Last week you explained, because I'm the one that asked why it was so different on the budget, and just knowing that we have capable employees to do it, and saves the city quite a bit of money.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
thanks for the explanation.
And I take it we've been using this paste slaking process for 15 years at least, and it's still the best process for us?
Yeah, we're going to continue to need to soften the water and use that system to adjust the pH, take the impurities out. That is not going to change our process in that treatment plan.
Thank you.
But
How long does it take to set up? Is there going to be any disruption of service or anything?
no, we can, if you time it right, so if we install it when usage is less, we have plenty of storage. So we could shut down for a little while and still use what storage we have, underground storage in our towers. So we wouldn't want to do it on a heavy use day, but yeah, we will be fine.
Okay.
No other questions? I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Thank you, Mr. Crispin. Would you like to talk to us about sanitary sewer cleaning and award a bid?
Actually, I'd like to talk to you about generators.
Oh, sorry.
That
I
wasn't
would
planned.
never want to skip over anything you're doing. 2021 Water Resources Portable Generator Award a bid.
Jeff Crispin again, thank you. Staff solicited bids for the purchase of 2 emergency portable generators, one for water production and one for water reclamation. The department had total the Department of Water Resources has 7 total portable generators in its inventory, and those are listed on your screen. Generators are a necessity in the event of a long-term power outage. Water reclamation requires portable generators to operate our 4 lift stations. We have 4, and their locations are 27th and Highway 183, Sports Complex, Old Highway 40, and then over on Commerce Parkway out there by the airport. Water production has numerous production wells in the Smoky Well Field, City Well Field. We also have 2 booster stations in city limits. As you recall, the new booster station at 41st and Post Road, that actually has its own standby generator, so we don't need to worry about that. But the portable generators are required to operate various assets in order to ensure continuity of operations. Obviously, we have generators that can run our plants. Those are critical, is just as critical as to have these units available and working units available in the event that we would have a long-term outage. We need to be able to pump water to our plants. All the current generators are between 32 and 54 years old and are mostly are used military surplus units. Parts, as you may imagine, are pretty hard to come by, and it takes a while to find them, and sometimes you aren't able to find them. So it is really necessary for us over the next few years to try to replace all of those generators, and so we have some reliable units that are ready to go in the event that we would need them. And I will mention, I'm not sure if I mentioned it last week, we would use Purple Wave, which is kind of our normal process for disposing of equipment. So there probably will be some interest in those old units. These are a couple of the current generators. The one on the left, that is a generator that's over at the Highway 40 lift station, and it's kind of parked there permanently just in case. We have 3 that are located there at the water treatment plant behind our plant. So those are ready to go. They're backed in case we have to pull a pickup up to them and take them and go. I did mention last week we've had situations where we have used them. Our booster station, when you go on the curve right there at 41st Street near Skyline now, and you take that curve, there's some underground items there. That is a booster station that we've had to actually hook up one of the units to be able to operate it. That, at that time, before commission approved us to have a new line and a new booster station installed, that booster station was the only way to get water across. And if the booster station was out and it didn't have power, you couldn't move water across to I-70. So it's very important that we get those. Water reclamation, they do have 3 generators, and I said water plant has 4. Bids were open on March 23rd with 8 contractors that are listed. Fully Power Solutions of Topeka, and they have an office in Wichita, Kansas, submitted the lowest bid at $94,705.74. When preparing the 2021 budget and obtaining budgetary quotes for generators, staff, which was me, was unaware of the necessity to include a 25-foot power cord and required plug accessories to connect to these units to our lift stations and water production wells. This additional accessory added about $15,000 to the total of the equipment bid. So without that, we would have been pretty much right on. We intend to replace 2 units every year, so I would come back to you next year, hopefully, and present that, and then following year too. But we will budget accordingly to make sure that we are covered. And as you can see, there was quite a few. There's some local ones too, United Rentals, Don's Electric. We had pretty good submissions of a lot of bids, but this unit is a very nice unit. It's a Caterpillar XQ60. It's a diesel unit. It has a 1-year warranty. It can be, they said delivery within 24 weeks maximum, but that was kind of the very top end. They said that they could get them to us a lot quicker. Foley, like I said, is located in both Wichita and Topeka. Their service rep stated that they have a parts drop-off location in Hayes, and so if a part had to come to Hayes, it would be here pretty quickly. Service within 24 hours by Foley, which I think is great. And that unit could run 24 hours straight on a 75% load with full tank of fuel. Obviously, I hope we don't have to do that, but it's available, and we would continue water for our citizens. So for financial consideration, it's listed in the fleet replacement equipment justification section of the budget, the back of the budget. Total amount of $80,000 to be funded equally from water production and water reclamation reserves. Total cost is $94,705.74, which is the $47,352.87 from each budget. So tonight, your options are to accept the low bid from Foley, direct staff to another option, or do nothing, and this is the action I would request.
I'll authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Foley Power Solutions in the amount of $94,705.74 for the purchase of 2 portable generators for the Department of Water Resources to be funded out of water production and water reclamation reserves.
Seconded.
Been moved by Commissioner Melick, seconded by Commissioner Burgess. The action requested. Is there any questions or discussion?
I have a question, Jeff. On the bid sheet, I don't know why it stood out to me this week. There's an additional warranty we can purchase, but obviously we're not.
Yeah, we're not purchasing that additional warranty. They had offered a couple different things, and we feel pretty strongly that we can keep that unit in good shape. It would be on a service rotation where they come out just like they do our standby generators at the plants. So we feel confident that we don't need to spend that extra money, and we can make those units last.
Thank you.
Jeff, on these extra cords, do we have to change our wiring systems for each station?
No, actually, when we found out the requirement, we actually made contact. Jason Regal at Water Reclamation and Tim Huck, they made contact with Midwest Energy, and they talked to them about our different connections, our different sites, and we confirmed with them and this vendor that the ones that we are ordering will actually work with each unit. So
Great.
we'll be in good shape.
Thank you, Jeff.
Hearing no other questions, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Passes 5-0. Now we're ready to hear about sanitary sewer cleaning and inspection. Mr. Crispin.
The Department of Water Resources is continuing its multi-year program to clean and inspect sewer mains to ensure proper operation and maintenance of the collection system. This is the proposed 2021 program. This is a picture of a sewer jet truck from 2 years ago here in Hayes, and the camera van is back in the background. Like I said, it was taken a couple years ago. Problems that we could face and could be caused by lack of sewer cleaning include sewer backups, manhole overflows, public exposure to raw sewage, and regulatory fines. A nozzle, basically, as you can see there, is inserted in the manhole, and high-pressure jetting is used to remove debris. I threw this one in last week. This is a picture of our proposed company. Again, they did the work last year, and I thought it was a neat shot with the church behind that unit. This is an example of what the cleaning nozzle may look like. The nozzle is pushed with a jet of water from manhole to manhole. Debris is collected, as I said earlier, from one manhole and disposed of at the wastewater treatment facility. We require them to use what basically is called a basket to catch anything. We really don't want anything going down the line and getting to our wastewater treatment plant. So they will take what they catch and they take it out and put it into our drying beds, and we take care of it from there. At the same time that they're doing this, a camera inspection occurs, and that way we can know that the nozzle's going through, it's being cleaned, and we can see any defects that are within our sanitary sewer lines. Typically, one pass is for light cleaning, and that's how we've been bidding out this project, because we know every single line's gonna need light cleaning, but you don't know, you don't necessarily know that you're gonna need to have medium or heavy cleaning. Medium is 2 to 4 passes, heavy cleaning is 5 passes, and both of those come with some additional costs. Video inspection has also been required as part of our cleaning contract. It is included in the bid amount. This helps provide early detection of flaws and will allow for repairs to be made before catastrophic failure. It allows the contractor and city staff to also make decisions on additional cleaning methods and repairs as necessary. Basically, the foreman that is out works hand in hand kind of with Tobin Miller, our supervisor over our collection and our distribution system, and if they notate something that's going on or if there's an additional work that needs to be done, he would be contacted and he can go out and make a decision on scene, or it comes from me. Previous inspections that we've done since 2013 has produced a pretty substantial record of abandonments. That's an area where the camera can't get through. Cracks, holes, tree root issues that need to be taken care of. We've used this information to make decisions on repairs for our sewer system. 2020, pipe detectives removed 50 tap intrusions from the project area that was approved last year. And then a couple times I have a little bit of a reminder. In 2018, We took that data and basically with the Office of Project Management, and he left me. Sorry about that. I thought he was right there. Anyway, we did point repairs. We started point repairs in 2018. 2019, we moved to lining, which is manhole to manhole. 2020, we did point repairs again, and then most recently, I was in front of you to do the 2021 CIPP lining project, and you may notice that there is a truck running around Hayes that's doing the pre-cleaning. So that project has started. All these repairs are due to processing of video from previous inspections, and we have been very aggressive in the past 4 years on infrastructure repairs to our collection system, and I know that is definitely making a difference. This is the 2021 project area, basically northeast part of Hayes, a little bit apart of north of I-70, and north of I-70, and it is 116,000 linear feet of sanitary sewer line, or actually 22 miles. And this is a new one. If you remember my slides every year, but this is kind of a new one this year. I added this so you know kind of what we follow. We are in section number 4 this year. Next year, when I come in front of you, it'll be 5. Then it'll go to 1, 2, 3, and we just kind of continue that process to ensure that we have proper flow and our lines are in good shape. So basically, each of those areas, it's split up right now into 22 miles per area, and that's a total of 110 miles. This is some examples that we've seen before. This was an actual photo that was fiber that went through the sewer line, and the company actually removed it at their cost and fixed our sewer line. We've had that a few times, and we contact them, and they've been very receptive to helping us out. This is also a root ball, basically, is what it's called. They can grow in there from a tap or from a crack, and they need to be removed because they'll obstruct things. And you can see on the right side, it's kind of hard to see. That's a cutting tool that's basically removing that root and keeping the line open. I sent RFPs to 10 firms for the sanitary sewer project and CCTV inspection. On the 30th of March, we opened 4 proposals from those bidders. The low bid for sewer cleaning and video inspection from Pipe Detectives of North Dakota was a bid of $108,937.57, and that is for light cleaning of our 8-inch sewer line. And you will see that ProPipe was pretty darn close to that. We've actually used Pipe Detectives before, as well as Mayor Specialty Services. I did say that last year Pipe Detectives, they did their first project in the state of Kansas. You may recall Commissioner Burgess had asked me to do a little bit more work on doing some reference checks, and they did a great job for us, so we're excited for them to come back. And they also, after they left Hayes, they went and did some work in eastern Kansas for a community. So we're excited to see them come back this area. So for financial consideration, we budgeted $130,000 in the repairs and maintenance line item for the water reclamation and reuse budget. I am requesting the authority to spend up to $130,000. And that is an important thing, because that would be, if they find something that they can take care of right then and there that we don't know about, we can get it done with medium, heavy cleaning. Protruding taps, I kind of explained that the last time. Your private tap that goes into a sewer main, basically, if it's like this, if there's any settling, that can be pushed into the sewer main. So we want to make sure that that is completely open. So they go in and they basically have a machine that grinds them down and makes sure that they're flat against with the sanitary sewer line, and so there is no obstruction. $350 is typically what the price is, and that's what their price is for those protruding taps. And last year we did the 50 at $350, and that was a $17,000 additional cost that you approved, and we were able to actually take care of. So that's really good. So tonight your options are to accept the proposal, provide us alternative direction, or do nothing. And this is the action I would request.
Move we authorize the city manager to enter into a contract with Pipe Detectives to perform light cleaning and video inspection of 116,595 linear feet of sanitary sewer at a price of $108,937.57, with a budget authority not to exceed $130,000, to be funded from the repairs and maintenance line item in the water reclamation and reuse budget.
I'll second.
Been moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Melick. We approve the action requested. Any questions?
Jeff, how many years have we been doing this?
Contract sewer line cleaning, 2013 is, we've been since consecutively. And there was 1 year in there that we did some heavy cleaning, I think in 2014 down Main Street. But we've been consecutively now since 13.
So is there any way to tell, let's just say we decide next year, look, we're not going to do this for 5 years. And I mean, it's obviously you see a lot of issues by doing the cleaning. Is there any way of telling what it could cost us if we didn't do this?
Well, if we didn't do it, the problem would what would happen is the things that we don't know, you know, something may sneak up on us, something may break.
Right.
Then if that line gets plugged, then you have backup, and then you have backup into anything. And I don't want to do that. So
Yeah.
I want to make sure that as we're going here, we're taking care of every problem that we see. It's a healthy system. It's able to flow all the way down to the wastewater treatment plant so we can treat it, and we have good flowing sewers. And that's just by normal maintenance. We do, and I didn't mention this, we do have a sewer vector truck that we can take out on emergency runs, and we do that from time to time if we get a call of a backup. Usually it's if we go, it's a plumber's working on a private issue in a house, but we also go out to make sure that our line is flowing smoothly. But if we stop, I would be afraid to see that after 5 years.
I think it's money well spent. I was just curious. Thank you.
Any other questions?
I got a couple, just follow-up question. Last year, we did 110,000 linear feet at 94,000, not to exceed 130. So my first question is, what did we end up last year?
129,500. I was very close, and we said, okay, we were down to like 5 taps, Commissioner, and I said, okay, we cannot exceed the budget.
So the other question I have, so we did 110,000 linear feet last year at 94,000 and 116 this year at 108, and if we're not exceeding 130, would it be worth our time to do bids for more linear feet? Or is it worth our, like what we have, being way under budget with less linear feet than making sure we can take care of issues as they arrive?
Well, a couple things. We used to bid $150,000, and consistently, the bids would come in and it's about $100,000, so you had a $50,000 gap. My goal is always to spend as close as I can and be under budget, not be over budget. So I think sometimes if we get those projects too big, they're a little bit hard to manage. I know that this is a company that can come in and they can probably clean more, but I think a 5-year rotation is the right thing to do and to keep us going. Plus, one thing that we don't want to do is we don't want to clean a sanitary sewer line and then go in there in a year and a half and do it again, because that high pressure jet, it can affect the integrity of a line. If you have a break or something or a small crack, you could make that crack bigger. So I think a rotation of 5 years is really good.
Also, kind of like what Sean was saying, you know, on waiting, I think the rule of thumb on that is a flush beats a full house any day. So just remember that. Is that not true?
I would have to agree with you.
Yeah.
Turn off his microphone. Any other questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Approved 5-0. It might be interesting, because we gave you a real hard time last week about you missed that bid by $14,000 for a cord. But I want you to know, Mr. Crispin, that your net result on your budget over all these projects, you're still to the good about $87,000. So don't, remember it's me that's bringing that.
Mayor, thank you.
I'm just sitting out there.
Thank you.
Last item for Mr. Crispin, well rehabilitation water production, award a bid.
Okay, thanks again. This is it. Last one for tonight. Jeff Crispin, Director of Water Resources. This year we solicited bids for the 2021 well rehab program project to perform maintenance on specific production wells. This is a a visual of a couple of the well houses. You can see the one on the right is fairly newer. That's one that was probably done in 2007.
It is nice.
And the brick one is a little bit older. Those aren't two of the wells that we're doing this year. Just an example. If and I should have included one of the pictures, but even if you get to the four-way area down at Highway 40 and where the bypass is and Vine, you'll see a couple different blue wells, and it's just a wellhead that's sitting above ground that's not really protected like this, but those are the kind of what you see in town and out of town. City staff performs routine maintenance on wells by acidizing and disinfecting the wells in order to improve their performance. When our maintenance efforts can no longer improve the performance of the well, it is necessary to hire a professional to rehab those wells. Professional rehab is periodically required during the life of a well, as groundwater contains bacteria, minerals, and minerals which can cause well plugging. Screens, gravel pack, and formations may become blocked by minerals, reducing the capacity of the efficiency of the well. This buildup reduces the amount of water that can be pumped to the surface. Rehabilitating wells extends the life of each well. Reduces electricity to pump the water up, and cost to produce the water. It allows the water to get through the screen easier. And my example I've been using every year is, if you think about a straw, if you pinch off the bottom of the straw, you're not able to drink the water as easily. The contractor will perform a pre-test before they do any work to see how that well is performing towards 100%. You know, when they first install a well, they say it's 100%. So we want to see where it's performing now, and then they do a post-test after all the work's done. A camera, they basically take everything out, the pump and everything, they pull everything up. They lower a camera down in the bottom and they take a look at it. High pressure jetting is done, chemical treatment. Mechanical methods are also used to clean the screen and the well. And then they also provide a report and a video as part of that project. And one of the things that we try to do is we also are able to say how good we can improve that well when we acidize them in-house. But as I said, when we can't do anything further by acidizing, they can come in and use mechanical methods that take us to a new level as far as those wells are concerned. This is a list of the Smoky and City wells and with the dates that they were put into service. So the drill date is the date that well was put into service, and the last time the well was professionally rehabbed. Prior to 2019, you can see that some wells were rehabbed in 2001 and 2002. I only went back to the year 2000 when we started this program. In 2019, we began the process to create a baseline of all production wells, and this is our third consecutive year of doing 6 wells each year. As of this year, like I said, 18 wells will be completed. In speaking with contractors, more than one contractor, wells, depending on use, should be rehabilitated every 5 to 10 years to ensure that they are operating as they should. It kind of depends on the amount of pumping. It depends on the quality of the water that you're actually going through that well. But I believe it is really important to keep these in top shape. And I guess I could go back just real quick. You can see there that there are a couple of them that we don't have anything done. C27, we don't use it as high as some of our Smoky wells, but it would be on our list next year to make sure we're done. Then we have a baseline and we know where we're starting from. This is a list of all of our wells within our inventory, I guess. 12 Smokies, we have 6 Dakotas, 8 city, we have 6 remediation wells, we have 5 emergency wells for a total of 37. We are not going to do any professional well rehab on the Dakota wells. That is probably, the Dakota water is probably 2 to 3% of our total production for a year. We don't use much. Those wells are about 300 foot deep. It is expensive to pump them, and they're very high in, they're salty water, and it is not something we use a lot of right now. In 2022, we'll have so S10, C27, C31, and a couple other wells that we would look at. But you will see upcoming in the next budget that's not well rehab, that just goes on forever. There will be a pause, and then we'll probably bring it back after a few years and to kind of start over. This is S13, east of Shinshin and Highway 183, so really, really close there to the highway. North and west of Shinshin, there's S18. We're going to complete that one. YE2, so where you are here is, this is 41st Street, and then this is the bypass right here. You don't want to end like that. YE2 is out there on the far left, and then C32, C33, those are two wells that are near 41st and Post Road in that open field area there. Also, we have C20, which is very close to 17th Street and Vine. If you drive by the True Value rental place there, it's right off of the curb line there, and so that one's going to be rehabilitated. Just a picture of what you kind of see before and after. This, the far left, this is a before, and then the screen afterwards, as well as this is the dirty part, and then they've cleaned it, and that's where it looks after it's done. And then that picture in the middle is just some of the things that they can bring up out of the well that could affect the performance. So we opened 2 bids on March the 2nd. Downey Drilling of Lexington, Nebraska submitted the lowest bid at $65,246. Downey Drilling's bid is below the budgeted amount of $80,000. And they were also awarded the project by you in 2020. We have used both companies before for many different things, so I feel comfortable with either, but the low bid, which is very close, would be Downey Drilling. Also, as I mentioned at the end of last week, the meeting, I did send the bid to Karst Well Service, because they've done a lot of work for us too, but due to their workload with a lot of contractors, really, they weren't able to bid, and actually the owner called me and talked to me about it. So we've been sending the bids to them for a couple years. So in the financial part of this, it's listed in CIP for $80,000 to be funded out of the projects line item on the water production and distribution budget. The total cost is $65,246, and one may ask, well, why aren't you asking to spend up to $80,000? And the reason why is because we budget for repairs in our normal budget already for equipment expense and repairs and maintenance. So each time that they pull one of those, they actually take the entire pump and motor out, and they take it to their facility, and they look it over, make sure and see if there's any problems with it, and then they work with us to let us know if there's something that they see that we can't see from the outside, and to ensure that those are working properly. So tonight, your options are either to accept the bid or direct us to another option or do nothing, and this is the action I would request.
I'll move we authorize the city manager to execute a contract with Downey Drilling in the amount of $65,246 for the 2021 well rehabilitation project to be funded from the project's line item in the water production and distribution budget.
Seconded.
Been moved by Commissioner Reuter, seconded by Commissioner Burgess. Any questions?
I have a couple of questions. Commissioner Melly, when we rehabilitated or changed the configuration of the wells in Big Creek, what year was that? Or maybe
Smoky?
Smoky.
That was
Oh, I'm sorry,
2009.
Smoky.
2009.
Now, was that for better water production?
We drilled some new wells, and we lengthened the well field out on either end. Got rid of some that were close together, and then re-drilled a few to provide better spacing. So if you look at the well field as a sponge that soaks up water, we had a lot of wells concentrated in a small spot, so it's only soaking up the water in that spot.
Okay.
It was spread out a little bit to take better advantage of that. So that was 2009.
So by doing this, though, it's pumping more efficiently.
Yes. Yep.
Also, at that time, we acquired the water rights to those wells. We purchased those where before we were basically leasing them.
Yeah, we
correct?
capitalized the leases,
Capitalized the leases on
bought the owners out, and
Yeah.
we own them now.
Yeah.
I knew there were some changes. I wasn't sure. Okay. All right. Thank you, Jeff.
And maybe I should ask you this last week, but for the public's knowledge and the other commissioners, the average depth, like you said, on the Dakota wells are 300 feet. The Smokies are,
All of our wells are between 30 and 50.
and the city wells are approximately the same. Is that
Yeah,
correct?
every well ranges between 30 and 50 feet deep, other than those Dakota wells.
So you can see the difference, between the Dakota and the rest of our wells, why it costs so much more to operate those. So, thank you, Jeff. I should have asked you that last week.
All right.
But I knew you'd know.
Any Anyone else? Hearing no further questions, I'll call for the vote. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Jeff. Lots of stuff. And now we have progress.
Good evening, Colin Belzer, Assistant City Manager. And for this month's progress report, Public Works has reconfigured or reconstructed the 15th and Fort Alley return. It used to be, as you can see, maybe an old brick section. It's kind of dirtied up with the alley, but they've cleaned it off and put in a much better entrance exit. Also on the Indian Trail Bridge, service crews did replace the aprons on either side, both the north and south side. So the photo on the left, you can kind of see a deteriorated apron, and then on the right, you can see it with the concrete or the fresh concrete that they put in. Stormwater staff with Kansas State Watershed Specialist constructed 74 rain barrels for distribution to the public. The Aircraft Rescue and Firefighting Live Fire event was held, or ARF. This is something we do annually and required to do so by the FAA. Firefighters from Dodge City and Salina attended the event, as well as our guys. In the Parks Department, channel catfish were stocked at Vineyard Park Pond on April 14th. So if you're a fisherman, get out there. The bison, we did complete spring vaccinations on the bison herd. Probably one of the few parks departments, if not the only one in the state, that takes care of bison. Park staff installed a memorial bench at the Pershing Court flower bed. Seven Hills Park progress does continue on the Arc Park. We are currently waiting on fall zone installers, so the rubber matting and whatnot to be installed. We don't know when they'll be here yet, so we don't have an estimated time of completion, but it is pretty close. The aquatic park, we replaced damaged pool grates and repaired irrigation lines. In public safety, so in information technology, this is a big project that IT is doing. It's the public safety software that was awarded to the county through CARES funding. This is a monumental task, and it is scheduled to significantly launch in March of 2022. So kind of a 2-year project, really. And right now what IT's been doing is they've allowed city staff to connect and start configuring the software that's associated with the dispatch software. And then the next phase, they'll do that with cellular modem installation and configuration for the patrol vehicles to be able to access that public safety software. In water resources, World Water Day Fun Fest was held. You can see Commissioner Reuter was there helping out, as well as city staff, including Tobin Miller and Graydon Clapp, sharing information about water line maintenance and distribution. Also, we've talked about the 4-H Water Ambassador Program. On the left is Marissa Wassinger, who participated in sharing some information to participants. In the middle is a group of young people learning about watershed pollutants. And then on the right is Water Reclamation Superintendent Jason Regal describing the bugs found in wastewater treatment process. Also on social media, the Department of Water Resources has been promoting the hashtag Plants for Haze, so to encourage people to plant native water-conscious plants. We also had the Water Poacher Awards ceremony, as each of you are in this photo somewhere, so this was a fun event. The CVB, they've been creating these virtual tours, and they're found on visithaze.com. I don't know if you can see it, but there's a little arrow there. I'm sure you've all had experience where you can go to a virtual tour and click the arrow and walk through. So this was kind of their first test of the city or the offices, and they've done one for the Strand Event Center, I know, and they have lots of others planned. In addition to the Strand, they did an Event Center video to kind of alert the public and individuals about the space, and it's ready and renovated. We did something, or the CVB did something similar with Hilton Garden Inn. Kansas Shrine Bowl. So last month, Janet Kuhn of CVB gave tours to the Kansas Shrine Bowl executive director and a member of their board of directors. They visited, obviously, the Fort Hays State Athletic facilities, residence halls, as well as the Hilton Garden Inn. In fact, this weekend, Janet is going out to Emporia to pitch in person to try and get the Shrine Bowl here in Hayes next year. Also, things are kind of ticking up in travel, I would say. We've provided welcome packets and visitor info to the 4A State Rodeo, Hayes Med Community Health Fair, Hayes Toy Show, and the Lions Club District Convention. In project management, the Tall Grass 2nd Edition RHID project. Paul Wertenberger Construction has begun constructing the curb and gutter, street pavement, and cul-de-sacs. The I-70 West Development Utility Extension. So sanitary sewer is installed and they're backfilling it. That's kind of a picture on the left. And on the right is the water line installation, and they are approximately 15% complete with water line extension. And then this is just services to the site. They still have to do on-site services, but the 2020 water line improvements. So this was awarded last December to J-Corp for approximately $443,000 to make improvements in the area of 19th and Elm Street. They're replacing old 4-inch water lines with new 8-inch water mains along 19th Street from Hall to Walnut, and Elm Street from 17th to 23rd. Works expected to be completed by the end of May. 27th Street has begun reconstruction, as I'm sure you all know. It started March 25th, and we had to temporarily close it to install a storm sewer pipe across the intersection of 27th and Canal. Within 2 days, the temporary surface was placed on top so you can drive through it. Also related, the west side of 27th and Hall is being reconstructed now. So they are having to use a tour around Augusta Lane. And then here's some pictures of them tearing up the concrete and laying the crushed concrete, or that's the pile on the right, to form the base for when they pour that. So that'll be a couple more weeks, and then they'll switch over to the other side, and that's about the time when 27th will go to one lane in each direction. On March 24th, phase 2 of the second season of Vine Street Corridor project began. Traffic is obviously reduced to one lane in either way, and it's been all pushed over to the east side, and the orange is where they're currently building. We've seen this a couple times with the detour still in place. They go, you get a good look at Vine Street to get where you need to go. Picture on the left, you can kind of see that's the 37th Street roundabout starting to form up. And then kind of further in the background on the left picture, you can kind of see the off-ramp eastbound. That's also starting. And then on the right is the exit ramp as you're going west for reconfiguration of that. Here's kind of closer up with the on-ramps, off-ramps. The left is the south side of I-70, and the north, or the right would be the north side, so you can really start to see the shape. And that's it.
I have a couple questions. I see that Melissa's in the back. Melissa, do we know when, or maybe you can answer it, Colin, do you know when the award will be made for the Shrine Bowl? Sorry.
Hello, Melissa Dixon from the Convention and Visitors Bureau. I do not know when we will get that notification, but I can confirm that it's actually for the 50th annual event, which will not be till 2023.
It is 2023. Okay, very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
The pictures that the drone pictures are absolutely outstanding. I'm totally lost until I sat down and looked at those. Are those on our website that we can refer our citizens to?
I think we do put them on. I'll have to look. I feel like we do. If John was here, John would be able to answer this.
John's not in that chair right there.
I will email you, but I have a strong belief
I would
they
appreciate it. And then, Melissa, you might try to do something on social media talking about it. Because once I looked at all those pictures, it all made sense. And I drive through that thing all the time, and it didn't make sense. So seeing it from above was very, very helpful. I don't know about everybody else, but I'm getting good comments. Things are calming down a little bit. People are figuring out how to drive through up there, and I'm getting real good comments that they can't wait for it to be done. The virtual tours are outstanding. I've got out and looked at what you had out there, and you really do a really nice job with those. And lastly, the dirt work lots of dirt work that's going on right now at the art park, is that for the drive? Are we getting ready to the driveway? Okay, I see people shaking their head. Okay, it's kind of going to be one of those projects that we've waited a long time for just somebody to say, this part's done, and it's gonna happen like that. It's rumbling, and pretty soon it's just gonna be done, so.
It's true.
It's pretty exciting. Thank you very much. Anybody comments or questions for Colin? Nice progress. Commissioner inquiries or comments?
I just want to remind everybody the first art walk next weekend will be for over a year, and it's just exciting to see people out and about again. And I believe we're supposed to have nice weather for that. So it's, as you guys have heard me say many times, it's amazing that people I get in my business from around the country and the positive things they say about our community, and that speaks well of the people in our community. So.
Mr. Melick?
I have nothing this evening, thank you.
Commissioner Burgess? Commissioner Reuter?
I'm boring. I have nothing this evening either.
We're all kind of boring. That art walk is very exciting that we're doing it again, but I think the community, keep your eye on it. It is Saturday rather than Friday night, and it goes most of the day, I think. So people can move in and out, and we'll see a lot more activity downtown during a shopping time, which I think is really good, really good.
And some great events at the pavilion with some music and
Right.
stuff. So, yep.
Lots of fun activities. Any executive session? We're adjourned.